Okay. As usual, I had a nice outline for what I wanted to present tonight, and my conscious self would much rather have everything prepared a week ahead of time, practice a few times, and then come in here knowing exactly what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it. But schedules don't always work that way, so I'll be winging it at least part of the way tonight. So we'll see how that goes. But as most of you know, my main topic is about manifesting, about creating the things that we want in life the way that we want them. And there are a wide variety of different techniques that we can use for this. As Mike mentioned, I have a book which is in the back. Anybody who doesn't already have a copy can grab one. It's called Choose to Believe. And the foundation of this book is really the foundation of manifesting. Everything that happens in our life happens because it reflects one or more of our beliefs. So if we believe that life is a struggle, then life becomes a struggle. If we believe that we have a special gift that makes things easy for us, then life gets easier. If we believe that jobs are hard to come by and we need to find a new job, we'll have a hard time finding that next job. Whereas if we believe that we have a special ability and that any company would be lucky to have us and that they will gladly replace whoever they already have to get us in the door, then a job would be much easier to get. So that's just one level of belief systems. There's many different levels of beliefs. There's a surface level, there's our self-image beliefs, there's beliefs that we believe that are true about people in general, and then there's what I call universal beliefs, which are things like, I believe that the sky is blue. I believe that gravity is going to hold me down to the ground. I believe that if I walk through my house at night without a light on, I can pretty much, well, no, that's a self-image belief, sorry. I believe that God is good. I believe in the law of karma. I believe that 2 + 2 = 4. These are kind of those universal beliefs that I believe to be true anywhere in the universe. And so there are different levels of belief, and there's many different ways to change what we believe so that we can manifest more of what we want and less of what we don't want. Mm-hmm. And in that Choose to Believe book, I pretty much scoured everything that I could possibly find throughout all my library, through the internet, everything, all the different techniques, and categorized them into that book so that I could give my readers the benefit of choice. Being a Gemini myself, I love variety, I love choice. And so when I write my books, I like to give choices to my readers as well. Now, since I wrote that book, that was done in 2008. 11 years have passed since then. I've learned some new things since then. I've learned that while choice is good, not every possible way of working with beliefs is really going to be the best way of working with beliefs. And sometimes simple is also good. And so in 2012, I wrote the next book, which was Harmonic Prayer. Some of you have seen that book. I have a few copies here. And we'll be getting into that later tonight. But the basic idea of harmonic prayer is that you can manifest more of what you want with a simple 3-step process. And that is to relax, to go within, make a deep connection to the divine source, imagine what you want in intense, vivid detail, and then trust that it's going to happen. And if you just follow those 3 simple steps, that right there will do more for you to manifest what you want than pretty much anything else that you can think of. Affirmations are good, but they don't hold a candle to actual get going within, contacting that divine and praying for what you want. There are a variety of other things too. Okay, I'm going off on the tangents here. Okay. One of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight is that while beliefs are the foundation for manifesting what we want, and in the Bible it says, according to your faith is it done unto you, meaning that life is a reflection of what we believe. Our beliefs, for the most part, are based on the memories that we have. We believe certain things because we've experienced certain things. I believe that I'm good at math because I got good grades in school. I believe that I'm good in science because, again, the good grades in school. I believe that I'm not so talented with art because whenever I draw something, it doesn't really quite look like what I wanted it to look like. So my experiences help to support my beliefs. A few years ago, I was reading a book on hypnosis because I'm fascinated with the topic, and it ties directly into what I'm all about as far as where our beliefs are and how can we change our beliefs, and hypnosis is one of those techniques. But I was reading this book, and it suggested to me a process of going within, going back into my memories, and then completely rewriting those memories. And I tried it. I tried it a couple different ways. There were a couple different memories that I went back and I changed. One in particular, way back in kindergarten. And it was interesting to me because one of the things that I did was I asked my mind, what is a memory that I really should take a look at and possibly change? And that was a memory that came up for me. And the memory was, after school one day, a friend and I were playing with his little toy cars. And for whatever reason, we were on the slides, and I was throwing it up the slide, and it went way too far, and it got lost. And I spent at least an hour looking for his toy car because I felt so guilty for losing it. And I spent a lot of time looking for it, never did find it. Unbeknownst to my conscious mind, I was still carrying the memory of that guilt with me, even, well, just a couple of years ago, so for a very long time. But when I went through, okay, the process was I relaxed, I went within, I went back into that time period. I almost went back in time. I was that much into the memory. I was actually there. I was that tall. I was in that memory. I was there. We were playing, and the toy went off the end of the slide. And instead of remembering it the way it was, I decided to change it. I decided that I found the car right away, and we continued playing, and everything was good. And I completely changed the context of that memory. I only took maybe 5 or 10 minutes in this process, but when I came out of it, I could feel a major difference within myself. And I can say that since that time, that feeling of guilt hasn't come back. So that was a very powerful process for me. Another example, when I was in high school, having the last name of Tutt, and at that time, what was it, Steve Martin that came up with the King Tut song? Yeah. I had a lot of the school classmates singing that song anytime I came around. And I wasn't one of the popular kids. So I felt like they were teasing me. I felt kind of embarrassed, and there was a lot of emotional negativity around that memory. That was another memory that I went in to change. I went back into the time frame, and I could hear them singing that song, and instead of thinking it through, living it as feeling embarrassed and whatnot, I chose to change the memory that we were actually friends, that we were all getting along, and that I was one of the cool kids. Wow. And I changed the tone and nature of that memory. And again, once I came out of it, I could feel a major shift within myself, my energy. Now, I can't really say that there was any major change from that, other than maybe I accept myself a little bit better for who I am. So the thing that I wanted to share with you tonight is the power of this process of going within, changing some of those old memories, some of those negative memories that are holding you back, weighing you down, kind of like the lead weight, and change those so that they're more enlightening, more beneficial, a brighter, more happy memory. And again, the analogy for the title, Turning Lead into Gold, we can actually change the energy of those memories from something that weighs us down into something that is highly valuable, something that actually empowers us and helps us to believe that good things not only are possible, but have already been accomplished in our lives. And again, if we have memories that we have done good things, then we have a stronger belief that good things can happen. Mm-hmm. And so this makes it easier for us to manifest more of what we want. And as I was thinking through my plans for tonight, over the last 24 hours, I've been thinking of different ways I can take that basic idea. And so we may play with that a little bit more as we go through tonight. At this point, we're going to get into essentially a guided meditation, a self-hypnosis session. I'll pretty much just guide you through and let you imagine the things that are important for you to address the memories that are significant in your life. So, okay. Actually, before we relax, because this is going to be a little bit longer than the normal 5 or 10 minutes that I normally do, if you want to stretch, that could be a good thing. Get the body prepared to sit for a few minutes. I'm thinking maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20. We'll see how it goes. And so, yep, just stretching is a good thing. Getting the blood moving a little bit is good. One thing that I found in high school is that when you get exercise and you get the blood flowing, more oxygen gets to your brain and you're able to think a lot clearer. And that was something that was quite interesting to me at that time. So, okay, we're good. If we want to shut down lights, we can do that. I'm going to pretty much just park myself in one place because for the next 15, 20 minutes, your focus will be on the inside. So at this point, the first step is to relax as deeply as we can. And one good way of doing that is to take a nice deep breath and then release it nice and slow. And as you continue to breathe in and breathe out, you can imagine that all of the tension that may be within you is leaving your body as the air is exhaled. In fact, a really good visualization is to imagine that you're breathing in the divine light of God, the divine love of God, and that love continues to course through your veins. And as you exhale, everything that is not of love, that is not of God, is expelled and leaves you for good. And so continue to relax. We've already stretched the muscles so they can sit where they feel most comfortable. And one thing that I often imagine that helps me relax is to imagine that I'm melting into a pool of water and all tension, all rigidity, all structural strength is just gone. And I can relax like a rag doll in a cloud. And as we continue to go through this session, our bodies will continue to relax because our minds will be elsewhere. And so the next step is to relax our minds. And the best thing to do here is just to ignore any thoughts that may have been in your mind. Just imagine a nice clear space around you. And if any thoughts try to present themselves, you don't have to fight them, just ignore them, and they will go away. And now we continue to relax into ourselves, and we will drift into the core of our being, down deep into the inner levels, down where the divine essence of the universe is at the core of our being. And one of the nice ways to get closer to the divine is to remember the feeling of love and the feeling of joy and the feeling of happiness. And anything that makes you happy, think of that now. And you can imagine yourself in an ideal place of relaxation, someplace that is extremely pleasurable to be. You can imagine yourself on the beach in Hawaii. You can imagine yourself in front of a nice roaring fire. You can imagine yourself soaking in a tub of hot water. You can imagine yourself getting a nice relaxing massage. Anything that makes you feel good. Allow yourself to indulge in the positive emotions at this point. And as you get into this feeling, into these feelings of love and joy and pleasure, imagine what it would feel like if these feelings were 10 times stronger. If you could feel the love of the divine coursing through every cell of your body with all the power that is within the entire universe in each point of space. Because scientists tell us that there is that much power in every point of space. And imagine what would this love, this joy, this pleasure feel like if it were 100 times more powerful, 1,000 times more intense. Could you imagine it? If this feeling were a color, what color would it be? Imagine that color nice and bright, spreading throughout your entire body, throughout your entire mind, throughout your entire life. If this divine feeling were a sound, what would you hear? Would it be a single clear note, or would it be a symphony? Imagine that sound echoing throughout your entire being. Really get into this feeling of love and joy and happiness. And allow it to bring you further down into the depths of your being, closer and closer to the divine essence within. And at some point, on some level, you will realize that the core of your being a divine being, is part of who you are. You are an extension of the divine. You are divine. And so this divine love, this divine power, this divine energy is a birthright of who you are. It is the essence of you. And being a divine being, you have the power to bless, to heal, to change reality according to your vision. And we will be working with that idea as we continue. But before we go any further, I want you to consider two other ideas. There are some memories that you have within you that are things that have actually happened, things that are true. And there are memories that you have within you that are stories that you've heard, books that you've read, movies that you've seen, fiction, things that have not happened. Even though you may have seen a scene, even though you may have heard a conversation, that conversation may not have been part of your life. It may simply have been a story to which you had access. And so I want you to bring within your mind the idea of something that did actually happen. It could be part of this evening. It could be the fact that you are sitting here at the Coptic Center right now. And I want you to notice how that memory feels. How does it feel to be thinking about something that is absolutely true? Do you feel it in a particular part of your body? Does it have a particular characteristic in the image of that memory? Do you hear it in a particular way? And of course, this will make a lot more sense once we start to think about something that was merely a story, merely a fantasy, merely something of imagination, and compare that to the real memory. And how are the two different? Is the fantasy memory located in a different part of your body? Does it look different? Does it sound different? Notice the differences between what is real and what is not real. And this is something that we will be using as we go through this process. Okay, you are doing good. Go ahead and release those memories. And now I want you to visualize yourself in a place. Imagine that you are on a piece of property that represents your life. And on this property is a house. And that house, that building, contains many memories, many different rooms. And at this point, we're going to visit one of the memories. And at this point, I want you to call forth a memory, something that caused you a little bit of irritation, nothing too major, just a little bit of irritation. Something that could have gone a little bit better than it did. And I want you to imagine that memory now. I want you to go back into that time and that place and see it as you did then. And what went wrong? What could have been done better? And notice where the change point needs to be. And then as a director of a movie, you can redirect the actors within the scene to do things differently, to say their lines differently. You can change the picture in front of you, change the experience. Run it through again, but this time as it should have been. And this should be fairly easy to do because there won't be a lot of emotional energy attached to it. And if you want, you can take the old memory, the memory of what got messed up, what didn't go right, and you can change that memory so that it resembles a fiction, resembles imagination. Maybe the colors are just a little bit more muted. Maybe the sounds are a little duller. Maybe the outlines aren't quite so sharp. Maybe it's a little further away from where you are and you see it from a distance. However, that characteristic of an imaginary memory should be, make that memory more imaginary. And then once that's done, take the new memory, the new thing that you have just created, and give it the characteristics of something that is actually true. Maybe the colors are a little bit bolder and brighter. Maybe the edges are just a little bit sharper. Maybe the sounds are a little clearer. Maybe it just feels a little bit more solid. Whatever the characteristics of a true and accurate representation of reality should be, make your new memory match that character. Good, good, yeah, that's good. Okay, now that we practiced with that one, let's find another memory. Let's find a memory that probably had a little bit more emotional attachment to it, something that could have made more of an impact on who you are as a person. And seek out that memory. And I want you to do the same thing. Revisit the memory, see it as it did happen the first time. Notice where it could have been done better. Notice where things could have happened more in your favor. And then this time, before you create the new memory, make that old memory more of an imagination, more of a fiction, more of an untrue memory. Give it those characteristics. And now recreate it the way it should have been, the way it could have been, the way that would make you feel much better about yourself, who you are, and what you can do. Just see the memory taking place the way you would like to have it happen. And as you do, give it the characteristics of the true and real memories. The colors, the sounds, the feeling. We don't have to spend a lot of time on these, just a little touch is all that we need to do. And I believe you're doing just fine. Okay, that's probably good for that one. So before we go any further, let's remember our feeling of divine love, divine joy, divine happiness. That feeling of love and power that is within you, that is part of who you are. And let that flow back through every aspect of your being, every part of your body, every aspect of your mind. Remember who you are. You are a divine being. You are a co-creator with the divine. There is infinite power. There is infinite love. There is no limit to anything of this. And it comes with you everywhere you go. And at this point, we're going to find a memory that may be buried a little bit deeper, that may have even more significance to how your life has progressed. And as you think back to that memory, remember that your divine love and your divine power come with you in every situation. And you are protected no matter what the situation might be. And that your strength will never wane. And that it is always there for you. Think back to that old memory. Think back to that situation that could have, maybe even should have been done better. See how it happened the first time around. Connect in with it. And now, let the divine love, the divine energy, the divine joy and power flow through you into that memory so that it blesses that memory, so that it blesses that situation, so that the divine can redirect that situation so that it can flow differently. And with the power of the divine at your command, redirect that old memory so that it becomes more of what you would want it to be. See everyone doing things in a better way, saying things in a better way, using the better words. And really get into this new memory. Really live it. Make it real. And as you are doing that, know that I am sending the divine love, the divine power throughout this room, throughout each person who is sitting here, so that you have the strength and the power and the love that is with you in this situation, helping to direct it to the best possible outcome. And when you are satisfied that the new memory is as perfect as it can be, give it the characteristics of reality, the things that you noticed about the true and accurate memories, and store it away within your mind with those characteristics so that it reflects throughout your history, throughout your time period, throughout your lifeline into the present. Because the energy of each memory will cascade throughout the entire sequence into the present and into the future. Good, good, good. Yes. Okay. Now, one of the really amazing things about our divine mind is that it can do many different things all at the same time. We could go through and address each memory in turn, one by one, a minute here, a minute there, and eventually all such memories will be converted, changed, transmuted into something better. But we don't have to. We can process all of these memories all at the same time by using symbols. And so at this point, I'm going to ask you to imagine the building that you are in, this house that we've been talking about, this house of memories. And imagine that you've hired a crew to come through to clean things up for you, and that you have given them explicit instructions about what to change, what not to change, and how you would like things to be. And this cleanup crew is now going through the house, making everything better, taking away all of the old junk that you no longer need, and freshening things up so that it is a pleasure and a joy to live in this house, to be in this building. And everything is just perfect. And if there are any rooms that need any repair or remodeling, they will take care of that as well. If you would like a new bathroom going off the main bedroom, then that is what they will do for you. If you would like a big open window looking out over the ocean, they will install that for you, including the ocean. And so you can let them do the work so that you don't have to focus your conscious mind on each and every detail, because your deeper subconscious divine mind knows all the different memories that need to be addressed, knows how to help you become more of who you were supposed to be in the present. And they will take care of that. And the divine mind will take care of that for you. There are many different ways that we can imagine this same process. We could go out into the yard of this building, into this plot of land, and notice how the grass looks almost perfect, but there are a few weeds here and there. And those weeds are those negative memories, those things that we would like to eliminate. And you can imagine that you're spraying the yard, the grass, with a weed and feed fertilizer weed killer mixture. And as you continue to spray the water and the mixture on the lawn, the weeds will die out and the grass, the good memories, will thrive. And because there's fertilizer in this, more grass will grow, fill in any dead spots so that you have the perfect lawn to go with the perfect house, representing the perfect life. And another way of doing this, even if we were looking at the grass and the weeds, we could see ourselves blessing the grass and the weeds. We see ourselves sending divine energy out into the yard, into the lawn, and it takes care of everything for us because we are blessing it, because we are channeling the divine love, the divine power through us out into the space around us. There are many different ways of visualizing this. We could be looking at a shelf of books, a set of bookshelves, a library of books. And there are some books that you really enjoy reading through over and over again. There are some books that, well, it was okay the first time around, but maybe not anymore. And you can see yourself gathering together the books that are no longer needed and packing them away into a box to be donated to someone else who may find more value in their possession. And so you can get rid of all of the negative memories and move them from the room of things that are true and move them into the room of things that may have been true but are no longer true. Or maybe you want to move them into the room of things that were never true. And you can place memories in different places within your mind so that they carry the meaning that you want them to have. And so we have done quite enough for this one little session. But before we come back into the room, I want you to go back to that ideal place of relaxation. Go back into that idea, that memory, that visualization that gives you so much pleasure, that gives you so much joy, that is so great to be in. And just allow yourself to indulge in the positive emotions and reconnect with your divine essence. And as you do, I want you to set an intention that this divine energy will come with you everywhere you go. It will be there at any moment you need it. It will influence every decision you make, every action you take, every experience you encounter. And through this, you will be blessing every aspect of your life with the divine energy, with the divine love and power. And nothing can withstand the power of the divine. And therefore, everything will improve. And so we will bring back this divine energy, this divine power into our bodies, into our relaxed bodies that are sitting here at the Coptic Center in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And we bring ourselves back into the room, into our bodies. And as I count upward from 1 to 10, we are becoming more and more awake, bringing with us the positive influence of new positive memories. The old weight of those old negative lead-filled memories are no longer with us. They have been converted into a bright, shining golden energy that carries us forward into unlimited possibilities. And so we come up starting at 1, going to 2, going to 3, bringing more and more energy back into our bodies, getting closer and closer to waking up as we continue to 4 and 5 and 6. And we're getting there, just about ready to move and stretch as we continue up to 7 and 8. Almost there. We're up to 9. And as we hit 10, your eyes can open and we are back. How did I do for timeout? Wow, that worked out good. Okay, and so if we can get some lights, that's good, thank you. This is normally the time that I would ask if anyone had a particular experience they would like to share. So I don't expect to go through too many, but does anybody have something they would like to share?
I was back in kindergarten,
Okay.
first day in school. In the sandbox, the guy took my tuck. So I hit him. No, sorry about that. I felt guilty about that, like you, man.
Right. So, and once you change that memory, how did
Yeah.
it feel afterwards?
So good, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing will be in a week or two or a
Yeah.
month,
Right.
how does that impact things?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That'll be interesting to see. Okay. Anybody else have something they want to share? Don't have to, just checking.
I'm doing hard most of the time here with my friend Diane Stark, the pastor of Unity Church in Muskegon. And I don't know how I got affiliated with Unity. I don't know how, but I just got friends, Reverend Riegler and her daughter. Well, anyway, I got affiliated with Unity, and I'm glad I did. I was brought up being mentally ill. I am not mentally ill. I keep telling myself that, and the more I tell myself that, the better I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on medication. I have side effects. But every time I come to the Coptic Center, the better I feel.
There's a lot of good people here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it possible that I was in so many places and so many scenes. Is that
Oh, yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
That's one of the things
cleaned
that
up
I
a
mentioned
lot.
in there is that your deeper mind is capable of doing a lot of different things all at the same time. And you literally could be in 100 places all at the same time. The first time I had a dream where I was in 2 places at the same time was really weird because not only did I see the same scene from 2 different angles, I actually felt it from 2 different angles, and it was really weird. But yeah, the mind can process many different things all at the same time, and that's not so far-fetched.
I was in another lifetime too.
I kind of feel, I'm not gonna go into detail what happened to me, but it seems like it was a divine setup before I even went into this trance. And we had 2 experiences, right? I mean, we went, and we cleared one feeling or one happening, and then we went into another one. And both were related. to a degree,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like there was a karma there. I mean, I didn't know where I was going to do this.
Right.
And then after it was all done and I'm looking at it, it just turned out to be a karmic, good karmic experience. That's all I'll say.
Sounds great. One of the extra little details that I thought of earlier today that I wanted to bring out at this point is that this process that I gave you about imprinting an idea with the idea of truth or falsehood, that is a process that I use in my normal life whenever I'm trying to manifest something, like good weather or a light layer of clouds for a time that I want things to be cool or nice light for photography. I will think of the thing that I want to manifest and imprint that with the characteristics of a true and accurate memory. I will give it those brighter colors, those sharper edges, the clearer sound. And that tends to work very well for me in manifesting. I don't have to spend a lot of time at it. I just give it that imprint, and most of the time it happens. So that's a little tool that I wanted to make sure that you think of whenever you're wanting to manifest something into your life, is just the idea of you can deny the thing that you're afraid of. If you're worried that, well, this person probably isn't going to like this, but I need to tell them that anyways. If you have some situation that you're thinking you have to do, but you're not liking how it could turn out, you can imprint that with the idea of that's an imaginary concept. And then refocus your mind on the way that you would like it to happen. Like, okay, I'm going to tell this person this thing, and they're going to appreciate the fact that I'm honest with them, and they're going to be actually happier about it than I expect them to be. Whatever the situation is, you imagine it the way you want it to be, and then you imprint that with the idea of truth. And that's another tool that you can use throughout your life to co-create with the divine, as we are all doing. So that's all I really wanted to give you. And I hope that this has benefited you, has given you value. And I would be happy to answer whatever questions you have afterwards.
Yeah,